Hello to my party people out there in Radio Land. Welcome to this week's transmission. Um, as usual, I hope the sound is okay. It seems to not be, but if it's too loud, just turn it down. Okay, so let's roll. This week's topic is, are you strong enough to fly? So everybody always talking about flying. Everybody want to fly, right? You ask most people. I feel like around the world, what if they had 3 wishes? One of them at least is going to be, to be able to fly. It's 11:11 too, by the way. So little kids want to fly. We are obsessed with it. Of course, in American culture, you see it all in fairy tales, but you also see it in animation for other cultures as well. So everybody is obsessed with flight, right? We want to be like birds. We worship birds. We love butterflies, kites, airplanes, everything that takes to the air we have an obsession with, right? Because it's something that we are not physically capable of doing. So because we are so obsessed with flying, we only see the positives of it, right? We only see the benefits. You see a bird in flight, right? You see it while it's just gliding or it's flying over all the negativity or all the, unfortunate things that happen on the land, on the ground. You see, we have the phrase, a bird's eye view. So when you're able to have a bird's eye view of a situation, you're able to see the entire situation, right? You're able to see it more clearly. You're able to see it from a different perspective. You're able to see the entirety of a situation, right? That a person who's right in the bullseye, in the heart of the storm, would not be able to see, right? Birds are able to fly over storms, fly through storms, and they're able to be in motion when they want to, right? They can explore. So there's a sense of freedom that's associated with birds and animals that fly. So here's the thing. Birds have to earn their ability to fly, right? So mechanically speaking, birds, yes, they're born to fly. They all have the potential to fly, but they can't just, they're not born, they don't break out of the egg and then take off, right? There is obviously incubation period before they're even hatched, but they also have to, first of all, be strong enough. So the parent birds have to feed them, make sure that they have the nutrients, right? They have the energy necessary to be able to fly and to sustain flight, but also they have to have the muscle strength. That's what y'all missing. So before a baby bird leaves the nest and is able to fly, it first got to strengthen its wings and then test out its wings and then build up the muscles to be able to fly. Birds are not just born flying, right? They have to be physically ready to fly. They also have to be emotionally and psychologically ready to fly. That's why, again, there is a period where the mother or father bird feeds the baby for a while, right? It don't just be like, okay, go do your thing, right? Most birds, of course, there's always some exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, birds hatch from their shells and then they are fed, right? There's a period of adolescence, right? I don't know what the word is for animals, right? They have a little childhood. They're still babies where they're being fed and where they're being taught the ways of the world and they're building up their strength. And then even with eagles, right? The most magnificent birds ever, even eagles nurture their babies before eventually they start adding little thorns to the nest, right? To make the baby uncomfortable, so it has to leave, right? So it takes care of it, and then it's like, okay, you can't stay here. So instead of pushing it out like some birds do, it just adds thorns, right? It makes the nest increasingly uncomfortable so that the bird moves closer and closer to the edge, and eventually it faces its fear and it jumps, it flies, and maybe it'll hit the ground and maybe it won't, right? It is a process. So all of this ties into not exactly literal flight for humans, but I mean psychological flight. I mean flight in terms of your dreams. I mean, flight in terms of going to the next level, arriving, taking off, right? Following your soul purpose, being the divine light in the world. All of that, everything that you define as success, or that you view as being successful, the pinnacle of being at your best, being your best self, being the best version of yourself, living your best life. That's what everybody want to say, right? All of that comes not only with prior preparation, but it also comes with mental and emotional and psychological preparation as well. You gotta be ready, right? On top of the physical stuff. And that's aside from the physical. So here's the thing. Most of the people who want to fly ain't physically fit to fly. Just look around you, right? Look at people who talking about flight. Look at and see what are their actions doing, right? They talking all day long what they want to do, what they gonna do one day, but they ain't putting no motion in it, right? That is symbolic of their being physically incapable of flying, right? If you can't put your dreams in motion, then you will never fly. And it's the same thing as in flying in little terms. It's the same thing, right? You look around at people and they want to fly, they want to be the best they can be, but they not even taking care of their bodies. You can't fly if your body ain't right. And this is not to poke at, people who have issues, physical issues and all of that. I've spoken about it before. Those all stem from childhood trauma. I don't believe that anybody is overweight or obese or has eating disorders in either direction for no reason. That's not how the spirit works, right? They're trying to protect themselves, right, from things that have happened usually during their childhood, right? It all stems from something. But what I'm saying is they can't fly. You got to heal that first, right? You have to shed that dead weight. You have to shed all of those things before you can take flight. You don't really see obese birds like that. There's a reason for that. There is a reason, because then they wouldn't be able to fly, even if they didn't have the muscle strength, not just in terms of fat. I mean, in terms of the muscle, the bulk, the endurance, right? Flying ain't no joke. Can you support your own body weight with your arms? Try to do a pull-up. And I'm not even the pull-up queen or nothing. So it's not even like me being like, oh, I work out. No, that ain't it at all. I'm just saying, like, look at what is required in order to fly. Don't just look at the bird while it's gliding and just living its best life. Understand what that bird had to go through in order to fly. Understand that bird has to continue to be in its best shape. See, that's the thing. When you start flying, you got to keep flying, because flying in and of itself is exercise. It conditions you. So if a bird stops flying, the wings get weak and it can't fly no more. That's how it goes. So even if you have reached that point to where you're like, I've already arrived, baby, I'm already flying. What is you saying? All right, catch me in traffic. That type of situation, guess what? You got to stay on your A game. Otherwise, you will fall from the sky. It happens every day. So that's all I want to say. Just fly, take flight, be prepared to take flight. Do everything that you can to get in the sky. But just realize that sustaining flight and even getting to the point of flight takes work. Mental, physical, emotional, and psychological strength, endurance, resilience, perseverance, and just plain old grit. Thank you for listening. Love, live, light, laughter. Bye.